welcome to a very special episode of Frankly Speaking. And tonight my guest is Mr. Kamal Hassan, actor, politician, or should I call you big boss in Tamil Nadu, where the election fever is already catching up with Rahul Gandhi in town, the BJP president in town. Is it really fever pitch already?
Not yet, but it will get there. I think very soon it's all building up to it.
Mr. Kamal Hassan, you've been talking about, in the last 5 weeks, you've been traveling and touring various parts of Tamil Nadu, and you've been talking about bringing a change, especially on the governance and development front, and of course, you've talked about the fight against corruption. Do you think a party like yours, Makkal Needhi Maiam, can really beat the election machinery of the established parties? You have the AIA-DMK on the one side, you have the DMK. Traditionally, since 1977, it's been always a face-off between these two. But this election, we don't have the star power, Jayalalitha and Karunanidhi, for the first time. Not here over the last 4 decades. We've seen every election with them. Do you think that creates a space for a party like yours, led by you?
Since you use the word star and power in one breath, I'm also tempted to use the same words. I have been a star, and we are seeking power so that we can bring about the change we want in Tamil Nadu. We, as in the people. So I think it's happening, as in my trip, in this short trip of 5 weeks, where we've only traveled about 3 days. So let's say 15 days, 5,000 kilometers, and the kind of acknowledgement that we're getting from the people is unbelievable. I've been in this industry for nearly 60 years, and I've seen fame and applause on and off. But this is something unprecedented I have not seen. I'm moved, sometimes emotionally, sometimes into feverish action to get this done for people.
But Mr. Kamal Hassan, let's come to the practical side of things. And I'm asking you this question again. How does your party, led by you, fight against electoral machinery that exists on both sides? There are cadres. You have fans. Will they convert into vote?
No. We have cadres too. Let me explain myself just to get you to the sequence of events that led me into politics. I've been working in social service for 44 years with a band of brothers who, by number, even 15 years back, exceeded 10 lakhs. And they were working directly under my command. And that command is not harnessed by power, but by love and admiration. And we have done certain things, but that's not enough for the people, because it's like an NGO working. So it is like an NGO becoming political with a known star to back them. And that's not the place where the party's strength stops. We have professionals from various fields, even including from the government. We have many people who have left government service, though they had more IAS officers, police officers, who have come and joined the party. And we've been brainstorming, and we've been working. We know the system. We know how their feet on the ground works, and we have enough feet on the ground.
But in 2019, you fought the Lok Sabha elections, and the percentage of votes that you got was under 4%. And more presence only in urban areas where people recognized you. And 36 out of the 38 seats that exist in Tamil Nadu where you contested from, you lost deposit in all of them. Is that a beginning that launches political careers? That's what many people will ask you.
They will ask, but we can't go only by history every time when you're making it. Those are made history. So you can't just go looking at that. Let me tell you that we had 18 days to promote our symbol. And we were still building our party. We were not there. Now that's behind us, and we've been working feverishly, and we got feet on the ground. Every village is reached. And the proof of the pudding is that we collect such large crowds, which other parties pay to bring. We are not crowd pulling with money. And let me tell you, I'm not bragging. I'm moved. I'm wondering what's this magic. That is what is happening now. The crowd is coming for a meeting. And if you ask me whether will it all translate to votes, I keep asking that to the people where I'm talking to them, and I get back a roaring, yes, we'll do it for you. We'll vote for you. That's the roar I get, and we have video proof of life.
Mr. Kamal Hassan, people definitely admire you. You said you were the star, are the star in, your big boss has so much of reaction and so much of reach. Yes, you've been an icon for them. But when it comes to voting, there are many other issues that play up. There is the money power, there are the populist measures, there are, the freebies that go with every election. Do you think your party is going to do a bit of the same that always happened in Tamil Nadu, a free television or a free cycle or a free mixer grinder or a Mangal Sutra of gold, those kind of freebies that have always been there? Or are you going to give a different kind of politics to the people of Tamil Nadu?
When I first signed into one of my guest books where they asked me to sign as soon as I joined politics, I don't know why I wrote that, but I'm living it now. I said, I am a neo-politiculturist. So that's what we are doing. We are not going to go that route of making them temporarily happy with presents or freebies. We want them to enjoy it multifold, exponentially. Because what corrupt politicians do is take away a lot of money from the people and give them a little trinket or other at an opportune moment. That they're so thirsty, they'll drink from any cup, even if it's a corrupt one. And that's what's been happening all along. And they didn't see another face that they would trust in. It seems like they have, from the journey that we've had, they actually, in Tamil we call it Urudhimari, the promises, usually is given by the politician to the people. But this time, wherever I go, they give me a list of things they will do for me. And that's very moving. And it comes from the people. And the crowd has a mixed group of women of all ages, youth, and older people who would otherwise not even come out to a crowd like that.
So, Mr. Hassan, I want to also ask you, last time, urban-centric party, the Makkal Needhi Maiam was. Do you think the 51% of the vote base, which is in the rural areas in Tamil Nadu, will that not matter to your party this time?
Absolutely, it matters. This is where we went now. And these are the people I'm talking about. Sorry, all the speeches. So, I've been speaking through small towns, villages. There are villages where yesterday, Madhukarai, near Coimbatore, I don't think any politician would visit a constituency like that because it's too small a village and you always skip it. We've been going through all the villages and I talk to them wherever the police permitted us. And we have additional publicity now when they pull down our posters and break our flags. It's all adding to the publicity material. People.
So you're saying the administration under the AIADMK government is pulling down posters, deliberately targeting you? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying. I have proof of it on video. They have, it's.
Are they scared? Are they scared?
It's very difficult to scare such a bunch, but I'm happy if that is
Why
true.
do you say it's difficult to scare such a bunch?
Because there have been all extremes. We have a history of it. Your media will tell you we have a litany of crimes committed by them. And now people are so used to it, they've forgotten. But we can always jot their memory and tell them this is what you've been through.
The AIADMK may be facing anti-incumbency as well, apart from the loss of their mainstay campaign face, which was Jayalalitha. Do you think that's enough to put them down? And do you think the alternative, which was always a decided or an expected alternative, that AIADMK goes, DMK comes? Today, even they don't have Karuna Nidhi. What do you think this election is going to be all about? There is the AIADMK, there is the DMK, there is the BJP, which wants to make its presence felt either through an alliance with the AIADMK because, they've been together in many things, even in parliament. And of course, the Congress party, which is Mr. Rahul Gandhi in town, rediscovering Tamil Nadu and its culture. What do you think this election is all about?
Let's not talk about others, because talking about others and what they can do and they cannot do is not pertinent to our journey. I'm talking about M&M.
But you have to compete with them.
Of course we are. Our dream is to vanquish them. But that's not how it is done in democracy. But we will. We are already assured of double digits. We are now looking at triple digits.
You're assured of double digits?
Double digits. Out of the 234, our results are going to be double digits. That's assured. Now we are moving towards...
double digits starts from 10 to 99.
10 to 99. And now I'm saying that we are moving towards triple digits.
So you're in the 90s already?
In the 90s.
Okay, that's a tall claim. But you also said you needed the support of Mr. Rajnikant. So where does that fit in?
Any support. If you had been a voter in Tamil Nadu, I would have sought your support.
Oh, so Mr. Rajnikant and his support is only as a voter?
No, but right now it can only be that.
Are you disappointed that he's not taking the plunge?
Yes, not disappointed. That's just... I would have been happy if he had also come, because as a friend, it would have made a double whammy.
You think you would both have been on the same side?
That can never be answered, especially now.
No, but his known support to many of the things that the BJP has done. Article 370, he called it Mission Kashmir. He also supported CAA, and he said Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah are like Krishna and Arjun. And you've said in the past that you may be any color, but you're definitely not saffron.
Yes, I'm not.
So how is it that you would have gotten together with Mr. Rajnikant?
I look back into the glorious moments of history. When Gandhiji went into Navakali, it was this half-trousered young man holding the old man's hand and helping him cross a thin wooden bridge across a creek. And the people who are holding Gandhiji's hand are from RSS. And Gandhiji belongs to Congress. There is a moment when things come together for the good of the nation. Of course, there will be disagreements later, enough to kill each other. But that's the glorious moment I'm looking at.
So when you say that you're definitely not Saffron, for doing great things in the country, you can team up with other people, including the BJP?
But you need not let go of your individual beliefs and claims.
So you think what the Prime Minister is doing, the way he's fought COVID, the way he's built India's image abroad, do you think that is something that has added value to India and Indians?
Sporadically. So we want it to be consistent, and that's our criticism. When I say our, I'm not a single voice. It comes from a collective comment on this. And I think our Honorable PM should have the dialogue and take on this criticism. I think he will very soon, and that'll be good for the country.
He will very soon?
He will, because people do expect it of him. And I think he will.
So has anybody approached you? Has anybody approached you from the BJP for the beginning of a dialogue?
No, I have been approaching them through letters to the PM, and through video, through written letters, but I have never got an answer till now. But I have a feeling he will soon realize the values. He's not a simple person. He's a leader. That's why he is there. And he will have to have a dialogue with people, and he should. These are recommendations and hopes, both mixed together.
No, so recommendation, hopes, and you acknowledge that he's a leader and that's why he's there. Do you think working with people, because you're not a quintessential politician, you don't have deep-rooted historical perspective on the way your party is being built. It's an evolving, evolutionary party where you have an idea of...
What is BJP? It's an evolving idea.
Which
and
is
so
why.
Is Congress.
So that brings me to the next question.
M&M.
You think you can work with them, because as they say, if you work separately, power gets dissipated. If you work together, in Hindi they say ek aur ek 11. One and one makes 11. So do you think that kind of working together is possible, especially in the elections that are upcoming?
No, why should we work together only during elections? I think we'll work together after the elections, when we've made our point, and all those numbers that I've been thumping my chest about, if it comes true, then we have to work together, and that's when I'd like to work together. That'll be fantastic.
So then the saffron color won't matter?
No, it's not about color then, it's about governance. Because it's not about vote garnering or vote catching.
So you think you're going to be an entity that will have to be taken seriously post-elections?
That's what my people have assured me.
But you're one popular face, and in 234 seats, you have to field candidates. And in assembly elections, local issues are important. Do you have those 234 popular faces who will convert the popularity of Kamal Hassan on the ground and convert them into votes?
They may not be popular now, but they have a reputation. They have a previous history of having helped people, but that's all subliminal and not highlighted by the media. But they're all heroes in their own terrain. And we are the only party which actually talk about local needs. As a leader of the party, I address every little small problem they have. And we don't even say that we promise when we come to power we'll do it. We already have it in our list of things to do. We are giving them more. These are things that are primary and basic things which have not been done by the previous government. It's taken for granted that we have to do it in the first year itself.
Do you fancy yourself as the Chief Minister of
Yes.
Tamil Nadu? You do?
Yes. I don't fancy. I want to be.
You want to be. And you think it's a realizable dream given the fact that you're a loner, support is not there. There is a lot of money power that plays a big role in politics, at least in most parts of the country, but definitely down south. Do you think you can actually fight all of these things, alone as a loner in this race?
I'm not alone. I've got people behind me, so I can.
You can.
Yes.
And you're saying you're in double digits, you'll get to the three digits, you don't even have a party symbol today.
Yes. Yes.
How does that work? Do you think the next 2 to 3 months will be enough for you to create the tsunami?
About the party symbol, yes, because we did it in 18 days. And our symbol is very popular. And we were under the impression, just to tell you the sequence of events of how it happened. Even in the rule books of the Election Commission, it says that we are entitled to the second use of the symbol. And somebody else, by a matter of hours or days, beat us to it magically and claimed for that symbol.
And you went to court, but you withdrew your case?
No, that person also withdrew. He said, this is not what I asked for. I asked for a hat or something like that. That's what I read from the... And then, in the meanwhile, we didn't know because we went to the court. And he withdrew without why litigate the case because rightfully it belongs to us. And we withdrew the case, and now the case lies with the EC. Yeah.
I want to ask you, virtually every party which is contesting the elections in Tamil Nadu is, talking about some part of history that they have claim to. The AIADMK is doing that, the TMK is doing that, the BJP president is in Tamil Nadu today on Pongal Day, celebrating Pongal with the people of Tamil Nadu. And of course, Mr. Rahul Gandhi as well, who says that, he hadn't seen Jallikat ever before and he is learning the culture of Tamil Nadu. What do you think about Mr. Rahul Gandhi's claims? Because Jallikat is something that has been very, very close to the heart of the Tamil people. And there have been a lot of protests when it was banned in 2011 by a Congress government when the UPA was in power. Nothing much happened at that time, and Congress leaders, their environment minister, Mr. Jairam Ramesh, at that point in time, also a Tamilian, at that point in time, said that this was a barbaric sport. And today, Mr. Rahul Gandhi says, no, it's very good, and all safety measures are in place. Do you think, this kind of claim to Tamil Nadu's culture is something that people appreciate?
Claiming to Tamil Nadu culture is better done by Tamilians themselves. They understand it, it's their culture, and when we claim, while Mr. RG has not even seen Jallikattu, I played Jallikattu, literally. I've not been a spectator. I've hugged the bull and run. We don't even call it bull fighting. We call it the bull hugging, according to the Tamil. It's called Yeru Thalvudal, and it's been there for thousands of years. It's a cultural symbol for us. It doesn't matter which party impedes the pursuance of that culture. We will be demanding our right to, our claim to get it back. And it doesn't matter, whoever is the party, we will fight for it. And when we fight for our language, it doesn't mean that we fight against another one. I'm going a step further than your question. Our culture, our language, our identity cannot be negotiated.
So when you say that only a Tamilian can understand it, a person with origins in this state, in this region,
Yes.
can appreciate it. Are you saying Rahul Gandhi is an outsider?
No, it's like a language. You'll have to learn it. And he's coming here to learn it. The culture is like a language. So Mr. Rahul Gandhi is definitely an outsider to Tamil. But once he is willing to come and learn, the Jains have come here down to south, and some of the greatest literature in Tamil is created by the Jains. Ancient, not so very ancient, about 2,000 years back. They were here. Some of the, what we proudly talk about as Tamil literature, some of it has been done by Jains, Jain Munis who were here. So anybody is welcome.
But when Mr. Rahul Gandhi says, comes here for Jallikat, 2.5 months before election, and says he's learning and appreciating this culture, the BJP says we are the ones, who overturned the original UPA ban. We brought in an ordinance and then a law, and they claim that they understand the culture better. What would you say about this
I'd like to
competition?
interject on behalf of the people. If anyone overturned the ban, it's the people.
So nobody can
But-
take credit.
They can say that we acknowledge the voice of the people, the anger of the people. They can take credit for it. But whoever overturned it, it's the people, because that upsurge was bigger than any political campaign that I've ever seen, because it all sort of coagulated together, all their anger against misgovernance, all that came up with this this was the final straw. They were insulted and they gathered, and it's one of the biggest modern day uprisings that we have seen.
So do you think anybody who lays claim to these kind of things, as if they did it, or even if they made
It's a claim, because even I can say
Is it a political
I was
claim?
part
Give
of
me.
that voice, but we are only part of it. It's the people, the faceless people who actually made it happen. They were just blinking lights in Marina Beach. Suddenly it was aglow with cell phone lights, and it's like the stars that have come down. They did, and they were the stars.
So you think this political gimmick is not something that's going to take in people? I mean, the competition between the Congress and the BJP on this?
Optically, they'll appreciate it, they'll applaud it, because they're saying nice things about the Tamil culture. But I think they'll choose what they want for the betterment, what's best for them.
But the hypocrisy is understood by the people?
Oh, they're kind, very kind.
And do you think Rahul Gandhi was hypocritical?
No, they're kind. That's what I said.
You're being kind too?
I'm kind too. I'm very kind.
For the several pictures that you've clicked with him, you don't want to say any unkind words?
I have pictures with many people. I'm a people person. I have photographs with Dalai Lama. I have photographs with saints and sadhus.
Are you saying Rahul Gandhi is Dalai Lama now?
No. That's your that's your humor. I won't be part of that.
So let me ask you on a serious note. You say you and Rajnikant are friends, have been friends. When he made his announcement of coming into politics, he made a similar announcement in 2017 as well. Didn't quite come down to doing it. This time, did you take him seriously?
No, this time there was another serious issue at stake. It was his health. And ours is not a recent acquaintance. It's half a century old, almost. And I'm concerned, and if it's about his health, I'll choose his health over everything else.
No, but when he announced and between the time...
That's up to him. We are both individuals and...
were you in touch? Were you in touch?
Yes, all the time.
And were you working on, his political debut and what you could do together?
Well,
did you get down to that kind of conversation?
Like we were informing each other. As a matter of fact, the first person that I informed that I'm getting into politics outside of our group was Mr. Rajinikanth. I had a secret meeting with him because...
Yeah, that was a while ago.
That's a while ago. And again, we get in touch with each other only on the highlight points, not on an everyday conversation.
Yeah, so when he said that he's making his political debut before the 31st of December, were you in touch with him at that time? Did he speak with you on?
Yes, after his announcement, because it'll be better that he thinks on his own. And he asked me about what I thought about his announcement. I said, whatever you've said, stick to it. It sounds good. I mean, it's your point of view. Don't even ask for a review of it from others.
Did you discuss how you would work together? Because you've said on many occasions that you were looking forward to support from him, and vice versa.
That's because the press, the media asked me, would you work together? And we both said, yes, of course, why not, for the good of Tamil Nadu.
But there was nothing formal.
Nothing formal.
And no discussion to that effect either.
No.
Mr. Kamal Hassan, Mr. Rajinikanth once said that he believes in spiritual politics. Do you think spiritual politics is a euphemism for Hindutva?
No, I think, in my opinion, strictly my opinion, and I think religion and politics are two separate entities, best kept in their position, in their exalted position, and never to coagulate unnecessarily. One will spoil the purity of the other.
That's well said in theory, but in practical life, does it happen?
We have to be careful. Vigil is the only answer.
But there is the BJP point of view, which says that there has been appeasement politics that's been going on for a long time. In fact, for nearly 60, 65 years in this country since independence. And the majority community hasn't had the space really to express themselves. They've always been rather apologetic despite being a majority. Do you believe with that point of view?
No, this appeasement politics, true or false, is not my concern. My concern.
Why is it not? Aren't you Indian?
If it is true, then it
haven't you seen? You say you watch politics every day.
Yes, I do. But appeasement and empathy shouldn't be confused. I believe in empathetic politics. That's for the people. That empathy is what we will exude and execute when it comes.
You make a brilliant point when you say appeasement and empathy. Rahul Gandhi coming here just before elections and appreciating Jallikat. Is that empathy? Is that appreciation of the culture? Or is that appeasement and political gimmickry?
No, that's optics. And he's also learning. I would love for him to learn more about Tamil Nadu.
In which case?
Every other national leader should know. Let me give you an example. If you go to Bengal, Punjab or any other place, you won't find a name for a child, Kamraj, named after Kamraj, or Bhaktavachalam, or Karunanidhi, or even let's go back further, Rajaji, Rajgopal. You will never find those kind of names in the other side of Vindhyas. But you go to my village called Paramukudi, dark-skinned people, and you shout out the word Gandhi, 10 people will turn around. You say, hey, Nehru, and there'll be 5 people who will turn around. You say Patel in a place full of Tamilians who don't even understand a single word of Hindi. You say Patel, I can show you 20 Patels in every town. And Bose, not just Bose, Subhash Chandra Bose. And that's what we are.
So you're saying, history and present is virtually living together here in life and blood.
We are ready for that, and you must respect us for that. And all the, wrestling that we are doing is for our own rights. We have no special disregard for anybody outside. We look at them as they are, outside of this culture, but willing to learn and willing to appreciate, willing to even follow. But give us that empathy.
You think you don't get it?
No, not Tamil Nadu.
Why do you say that?
Oh no, that's history. That's what Mr. Rahul Gandhi or any other leaders coming to Tamil Nadu to learn. What is this strange place asking for its rights? And we are with the flow of the nation. Please do not misunderstand Tamil Nadu to be a separate nation seeker. We are part of the national flow, but we will never let go of our individuality or our personal culture. We will never accept a monoculture.
So you're saying...
We are willing to look at it, but we'll never let go of it. Any pressure on language, culture will backfire. It's a kind of indication that I'm giving to those who don't understand Tamil Nadu politics.
So the indication that you're also giving is that don't think about imposing Hindi as a language here.
Absolutely.
Don't impose.
No impositions. Suggestions we might accept. Don't impose. Prachar. Okay, come here. You do your prachar. That's why we allowed Hindi Prachar Sabha. Even that very reluctantly. Our only thing is, while you celebrate Sanskrit, celebrate Tamil in another state, in Uttar Pradesh and Delhi, Bengal. Celebrate. We sing our national anthem happily without wanting our name.
But every budget quotes Thiruvarur as well, not just by Mr. P. Chidambaram, but by Nirmala Sitharaman. Even the Prime Minister on various occasions has quoted Thiruvarur.
We applaud the Prime Minister. The rest of them better quote their culture, because they should be proud of their culture. They are Tamils.
The rest of them?
The rest of the two that you spoke about.
Nirmala
the two
Sitharaman?
people, Nirmala Sitharaman and
P.
Chidambaram, they better be proud of being Tamilian.
You think they aren't?
No, that's why. They better be. Thanks. But no applause for them. That's what we expect of them. Applause goes to this gentleman who doesn't even know the language, doesn't even know the pronunciation, but makes an effort to do it. Even if it's optics, we applaud.
Mr. Kamal Hassan, somewhere I get a sense that as a leader, you have some appreciation for the Prime Minister. How does he, in your mind, compare with the leaders we've seen, leading the country in the last few years? Let's start with the 90s. We had Narasimha Rao, then we had, the governments that came and went, the United Front government. We had Deve Gowda, we had I.K. Gujral, then we had Vajpayee. And then, of course, the UPA years, Dr. Manmohan.
See, this is a very difficult question, not to answer, but to ask. I'll tell you why. I have 9 brothers. It's unfair to ask which brother do you like. I have some problems with certain brothers, but it should be resolved. It will be resolved. It must be resolved. That's my answer.
Are you saying you have no problems with the others?
No, it has been resolved by sending them out of the government.
Out of the government. So the one in government, you know, there's some unfinished business.
There is. We can either have a dialogue or the people will decide as they want.
So on two very current things, let me get your opinion. Of course, these are questions about a national a position on things. For example, the Central Vista. You know, there has been opposition that why do we need a new Parliament House? Why do we need to reconstruct some of the buildings along the Rajpath? What is given to us, should stay there. Whereas the government has another point of view that these buildings have become dangerous, and the Supreme Court has also now okayed that plan. Where do you stand on that entire controversy?
This is not even a pertinent discussion. I stand with Mr. Gandhi where he said if you don't have enough houses, vacate the MLA houses and put the refugees in that house. Because I'm looking at the least noted personality, least noted building. That's the building of the poor person. We have so many bridges to build, so many state schools which have to be
which are being done, no?
Too slow for me, ma'am.
Too slow. So you think this should not have
with
been
the same speed that we want a parliament building coming up, we should approach schools and other things. Let me talk about Tamil Nadu. The same interest and effort we put into a department called TASMAC. Half of that, if put into agricultural development or education, would make Tamil Nadu glow and make Bharat shine even better.
Misplaced priorities? Misplaced priorities?
Misplaced, I would say. But let's not say misplaced. I think this is the priority. That also has to be done. I'm not the kind of person to say we should expand in science and other fields. People always say, why Chandrayaan? Why?
So you think Chandrayaan is not important?
No, I don't. But that also, with the same speed with which you're trying to push that, you must take care of these things also, because you need scientists, and that comes from primary schools. You need, if you want an Abdul Kalam, you better start making him now.
Mr. Kamal Hassan, let's also talk about the farmers' protest. Many people have criticized the government, said that there wasn't enough consultation. The government says it's been consulted and part of various parliamentary committees for the last 20 years. And the last word in agricultural economics was Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, and his recommendations are there, and they've been put into motion now. And then we've had, of course, the whole matter going to the Supreme Court. The farmers continue to sit where they are, protesting. The Supreme Court sets up a committee. One person even resigns from it. The farmers not ready to go and meet with this committee. And we are in the middle of a logjam. Do you think this entire situation is badly handled by the government, badly handled by the courts? Or do you think those who are protesting are not accountable for other people who may have another point of view?
I don't think so, because this kind of an uprising doesn't happen out of just another point of view. It happens because of constant suffering and fear of apathy. They want their voice to be heard. I mean, they would all love to go back and snuggle back at home. Some of them are old people who are trying to make a point.
But they've been asked to make a point to the government committee, to the Supreme Court committee.
I think Gandhiji is a great example. Dialogue. Go right into the lion's den, even if it's a lion's den, and talk to them. And that was missing. And that I resent now. It should have been done a long time back. This has been continuously happening. That voice is also the voice of democracy.
So are you saying the Prime Minister should go down?
I have great regard for Mr. Swaminathan. I know him personally. So when I speak of his name, I'm very respectful of him. But he is not the only voice for agriculture. He's not the end. The farmer, the 1,000 people who are there, or 10,000 people who are there, also have a collective conscience and intelligence that will match Mr. Swaminathan's. Mr. Swaminathan's knowledge actually came from these people. It's collected and he has put it down in a scientific manner. You cannot reject outright that because you have an expert sitting with you. Send that expert, send the top man in the country to talk with them. They are our people.
So you think the Prime Minister should go down to the farmers?
Why not? He's our man. That will bring the smile. And you can see the teeth.
But such hard positions where they say repeal and then we will talk, that's also a maximalist position.
That's because you brought it to that. That's what I said. I resent the fact this dialogue could have been done long time back. There were Tamilian farmers who were in Delhi. They tried all sorts of optics to attract attention, but nothing happened. So it's been a constant stance which could have been, you could have relented. There's no defeat in that at all. As a matter of fact, relenting and listening and having a dialogue is a win for a leader.
Mr. Kamal Hassan, you say when you travel, there are a lot of women of all ages who come up and attend your talks and your rallies and say they will support you even in the elections. Then I want to ask you, your recent comment where you said that the dignity and equipoise of women is more important to your protection and empowerment. That got a lot of women to go up in arms. Do you think you were misunderstood?
Yes, I think so.
But why did you say equipoise and dignity? Are you saying a woman, whose dignity, has been compromised should not talk about it? What did you mean by that statement?
No. That's more important. And what I meant to say is, do not be proud of giving them pepper sprays. That's not going to help stop rape. It has to start even earlier. They have that dignity and equipoise. I was raised by a woman with that dignity and that equipoise. That's got nothing to do with the way she dresses or what she thinks or speaks. What I'm talking about is, do not bring in martial defense technique into a situation like this.
So what should women do? How do they protect themselves in a society where they are attacked in brutal manners, and we haven't forgotten?
Let me tell you, to begin with, let me talk about Tamil Nadu instead of generally women around the world, because I'm talking about things which I understand and suffer most. In Tamil Nadu, the number of attempted rape stopped by people have been committed by those in power. Policemen to begin with. Outside, soliciting, it's the other way. Usually they say that women, streetwalkers solicit. This is, here's a man who's just calling out to somebody unknown. He is fascinated. It's Caligula-ish. And that's what happened. We have news of it. Many cases, not one. And then we have the Pollachi case which the trial leads to those in power. That itself is a beginning. You start there and then they'll feel safe instead of pepper spray. Because this guy might come with this COVID shield and pepper spray won't work.
So
the touch where the criminal...
You're saying attack the mindset, not...
No. Attack the reason which is causing it. That's a bad governance first. Then attack the mindset and then go even deep. Leave it to the mother and the parents to raise the boys. Don't talk about raising the girls. We've been concentrating on how a girl should be. We've never indicated it to a boy. We've never brought down the ruler on his knuckles. He's a boy. He can do what he wants. But she has to be back home by 5 because she's a girl. See, these are things that we'll have to clearly start reworking on. I mean, at a national level if possible. But definitely we'll start working with Tamil Nadu.
So, Mr. Kamal Hassan, am I talking to the future Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu?
You tell me. I am talking with that hope. So you tell me whether you see brightness in my eye. Look into my eye and tell me whether you see that confidence in my eyes. If you don't...
And is confidence enough to take you through?
I beg your pardon?
Is confidence enough to take you through?
Not at all. Then you come and see my videos.
And you said you're going from the double digits to the triple digits. When do you think you will reach beyond the halfway mark?
Very soon.
How much time do you give yourself?
Very soon. We have to do it very soon. Otherwise, it might be a little too late. So it'll be soon.
And working with other alliances is only post-elections or before?
Depends, because we have some set parameters which filters most of the existing politicians who might even...
So you're open?
I have always been open. I'm not indicated as to who, because we have indicated the parameters as to what will work, I mean, who we will work with and what will work for us. Now, we'll have to see.
Are you going to seek them out or will you wait for others to seek you out?
Right now, we are waiting and they are seeking.
They are?
Yeah.
Who are they?
That's
the saffron side
in
or
camera.
the other side?
No, it's in camera now. We can't discuss that. But they are. It's not pen and paper situation. So why talk about it? It's happening, yes.
Bottom line, are you in talks with the AIADMK? Because you're against them. Are you in talks with...
the AIADMK is not those who are sitting in the chair. AIADMK is a party made by Mr. MGR with dreams of his own. And there are still people who resent and might even want a new Tamil Nadu as we dream of it.
When Sasikala comes out later this month from jail, do you think the equations will change with the AIADMK?
I don't know. I'm glad that one politician paid for their crimes. I'd like more to pay for their crimes.
Would you do business with a losing Congress party?
I don't do business, I do politics. So,
are you open to doing politics with a not quite a winning side?
As long as they're honest and for the people, I'm willing to work with. I'm working with NGOs who are coming in hordes.
So the DMK has been accused of the 2G scam. Can you do business with them? When the 2G scam happened, it was the Congress in power. Can you do business with them? Are they part of the parameters that
I
you
won't
set?
do business with any
the
scammers.
Business of politics.
The business of politics with any scammers and criminals.
Okay, so all three parties aside. Have you been approached by the BJP? You said it's not down to pen and paper. but are there talks?
No, I haven't even had an audience with the PM, which is long pending for
the audience with the PM possibly happens after the several rounds of coffee with the others. With the others in the party.
No, this is from the bottom point. As a citizen of India, it was a call, it wasn't answered. It will be answered. So the citizen of India thought about it and said, probably because I'm just an ordinary pedestrian, what if I become a chief minister? Will he then talk to me? So that is the gentleman who will have the conversation with the other gentleman.
Well, then we'll wait for that, because you're giving indications, but as always, you're hiding more than you're showing people. But we'll wait for the suspense to unfold. We'll wait for the people to show their mind in the EVMs when they register their votes. And we hope the confidence and the self-belief pays off for you, Mr. Kamal Hassan. Thank you very much, and thank you for joining me on Frankly Speaking. Yes, that's the way to go when COVID is around. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.